guys, and welcome to this new video. So better late than never. These are all of the books I read in the month of March. So if you see me looking this way, as usual, I have my computer up. I have a whole Excel sheet of all the books I read and all the information about them. So that's why I'm looking this way. But in the month of March, I only read 4 books. So not the best reading month. I will say January was great, and then I hit like a reading slump. That is still going on. I also have been very busy, so have not had that much time to read like I did in January. So we're still chugging along. Hopefully I can still reach my goal of 52 books this year. Anyway, let's just get right into what I've read in March. Okay, so the first book I read was Regretting You by Colleen Hoover. This book my friends and I read for our book club. I will say it is not my favorite Colleen Hoover book. I found it a bit slow, and not gonna lie, I found some of the characters annoying. This book follows a mother and a daughter, and they just do not get along. It's like a coming of age story, and just a typical teenager and her mom who don't get along. It's really not that complicated, but it is complicated. Something happens in their life, and you know, they both are dealing with that. You know, they have one person in the house that kind of calms them both and helps them both get along, and then when that person leaves, they just butt heads all the time. And so I found that bit to be kind of annoying. I found the reason why the person left is kind of also dumb. I don't know, I just found this whole book kind of meh. It's not my favorite Colleen Hoover. I would say it's my least favorite Colleen Hoover out of the 3 books that I read. I just felt like half of this book was an adult book, and then the other half was a YA book, and it just made me happy that I don't read YA like romance anymore. I can't do it with whiny teenagers. I mean, if you can read things like that, you might enjoy this book, but I'm just over like whiny teenagers, and so I couldn't do it with those chapters of the book, and I definitely enjoyed the mom's chapters more. Overall, I don't regret reading Regretting You, but I probably would not like recommend it. So the next book I read I actually really enjoyed, and that is 56 Days by Catherine Ryan Howard. So this book follows these 2 people who start dating right before lockdown. They do not want to, you know, not have this relationship. They want to get to know each other more, and so they decide that they're going to move in together for the 2 weeks that lockdown is supposed to be. Obviously it lasts longer, but they don't know that. And then one day someone ends up dying in this apartment, and so you're reading the start of the love story, and then you're also at the same time reading stories about this death and this crime scene from the detective's perspective. I just find this book to be so interesting, and it kept me on my toes. I listened to it on audiobook as well as I read it. I did listen to the audiobook more, but I did follow along and read a little bit. I really enjoyed this book. I do not want to explain anymore because it got me. The twist at the end, just it was so interesting to read. But yeah, it's definitely such a good read. It kept me on my toes. I did not want to put it down, and the whole time you're trying to guess like who the reliable narrator is. Since you're getting so many different perspectives, you're trying to figure out who's the most reliable, and then, you know, at the end it just blows your mind. So if you're looking for an interesting book that's going to keep you on your toes, I highly suggest this one. So the next book I read, again, it was an audiobook, and it was The Nightingale by Christina Hanna. This is the first Christina Hanna book that I read. My aunt actually suggested it to both my mom and I, and my mom read it before me, and then I read it after her. Oh my god, this book was incredible. 5 stars. So amazing. I absolutely loved it. I love history. I'm very interested in history, especially European history, and so it was really interesting to read this book. It takes place during World War II and follows 2 sisters who live these very different lives during the war in France. And you follow one sister who's the older sister, and she has a daughter, and she has this husband that, you know, has to go fight in the war, and she's just trying to keep herself and her daughter safe. And then you have her younger sister who is just like, I need to do something about this, and she's ready to go fight on the front line. And they are very different, but yet very much the same, and it's just so interesting. I loved reading it. It was such a good read, and the things that these women went through were just horrific, and they come out such strong women, and it was just amazing. Like, I don't know how else to describe it, but just incredible. And I know this book has been out for a while. I believe it's been out for quite a while, and so I don't know why it took me so long to read a Kristen Hanna book, but this one was just amazing, one of the best books I've read this year, and I can't wait to pick up more Kristen Hanna books because this one was just so good. And then the fourth and last book I read during March is The Duke and I. So as we all know, Bridgerton season 2 premiered at the end of March, and I actually have a reading vlog of this book, but pretty sure everyone knows what Bridgerton is. It's a series that follows the story of the Bridgerton family, so each book follows one of the 8 Bridgerton children. This book follows Daphne and her coming out story and her trying to find a husband, obviously the Duke. And yeah, I think we all know this story by now, but I had this on my bookshelf since Bridgerton came out last year in 2021, have not read it, and I told myself I was going to read it before season 2 came out, and technically I did, sort of. I read half of it before season 2 came out, and I finished it after. So you can go watch my reading vlog. I'll leave it linked down below to go see like my full opinion on this book, but I really enjoyed reading it. It was such a fun read. I did enjoy the show more. I enjoyed mostly the characters on the show. I found were a bit more strong, specifically Daphne's character. I just like Daphne much better in the adaptation, but I really enjoyed it. I actually recently bought the second book, The Viscount Who Loved Me, and I'm so excited to read that. I really enjoyed the second season. I'm obsessed with Bridgerton. I love it so much, so I don't really know what else to say, but I loved this book so much. It was such a fun read. It wasn't the best, but it was so fun. So I know this was fairly short, but those are all of the books I read during March. I'm hoping to get my reading up in April, like I say every month, but so far not so great. But what I have read so far I've really enjoyed. I really haven't read many books that I've hated this year. Just like one at the beginning of the year. I had one DNF, and so far that's it. I've been able to finish everything else. I have a lot of reading to do, and maybe this summer I'll be able to up my reading with more, you know, time outside. The weather's getting nicer, so hopefully I'm hoping I can get my reading up soon. But yes, that is about it for this video. Give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed. Leave a comment down below and let me know what your favorite book is that you read in the month of March, and I will see you guys in my next video.